Question number 5, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker, this question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he stand by all the statements he made at the Chinese Business Summit on 9 November 2015?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes, Shishi.
Not bad from no chin.
Order. Supplementary question.
Not bad
Right
from no
Honourable
chin.
Winston Peters.
Supplementary question. How does he reconcile his Overseas Investment Office statement that, and I quote him, the length of time it is taken to make a decision is far too long, end of quotes, with a statement he made a month earlier that, and I quote him again, we do not want to see excessive rural land sold to overseas buyers?
The Right Honourable
Mr.
Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
because both are correct. It's not about what's being purchased, it's about the amount of time the investors are having to wait. And I think if they had more a speedier process, it's not going to affect the amount of land that's either approved or not approved, but it'll be a more predictable process for people.
You want to sell faster?
Supplementary question.
Order. Supplementary question. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
If his government's proposal for, and I quote, less screening, less consent processing, end of quotes, and a quicker turnaround is a direct result of consultation with foreign applicants, how is that working for all New Zealanders?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, firstly, if New Zealand wants to have higher levels of economic growth and job opportunities than we currently have, and in fact that we have had over the last decade or so, then we all need foreign investment to supplement that. Secondly, the changes that the government is proposing have been quite clear when it comes to the Overseas Investment Office, and that's been an increase in resourcing, both to allow them to make their decisions in a faster manner, but also to make sure that those who make commitments to the Overseas Investment Office honour those commitments.
Asia we've ever had.
Supplementary question.
Order. Supplementary question. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
If he doesn't want New Zealanders to become, and I quote him, tenants in their own country, end of quotes, then why is he altering the laws of this country to serve the needs of wealthy foreign buyers?
That's right.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not.
Supplementary question.
Supplementary question. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Does the June 25th report of an interview with him suggesting, quotes, local government infrastructure, building monopoly could be removed and Chinese contractors could potentially take the lead, end of quotes, really mean that he is utterly selling the country down the drain?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, I know the member's trying to outdo Nigel Farage at the moment, but even his best attempts are going to have to improve from what I saw on TV this morning. But simply having investment in horizontal infrastructure by others than local government may well actually speed up developments and therefore the opportunity for New Zealanders to get houses.
Order. 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 Mr. Ron Mark. Order. Question number